You're listening to the Fantasy Hockey Pucks podcast.
Yeah, how's
we're not dropping on the podcast, bro. That's crazy. That's actually what? Bro, what are you reading it to?
I'd have no issues with it personally.
We need to talk business now. Let's drop the puck. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Fantasy Hockey Pucks podcast episode. I'm your host, Antonio Kappas, alongside Ben Rutledge, here with you for episode 109, our playoff preview. We do have another episode coming out soon. I think we mentioned that we're going to have like kind of a double header coming out. So we'll be posting another one in close proximity that will be wrapping up the main regular season, but we felt that it was more important to get this out while it was relevant to get our takes out before the rest of the playoff games happened. So without further ado,
recording this Sunday. Sup boys, sup girls, sup everyone who's viewing. But forgot to mention this. We're recording this Sunday at 1, so we do know the results of the first 3 games that occurred last night. But other than that, we don't know anything else. And yeah, just so you guys know where we are at with these. So we do know 1 game or 3 games results. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect any of our takes anyway, even though 2 of the teams I had winning series lost. Let's get into it.
Agreed. But first, quickly, to open us up to little softies into the episode. Is bandwagoning ethical in the playoffs if your team's out?
I mean, I think so. The Leafs aren't in it, so technically, by that rationale, I should not be cheering for a team to win the cup, and I think that's dumb. I know the Leafs aren't going to win it, so it doesn't really matter. I don't know. I think it's totally fine. I don't really have any issue with it personally. I think. Okay. Yeah, I think as long as you're understanding that, I think Jake has taken it way too far with his Senators plays. I've been once, because right around February, I kind of realized, the Leafs aren't making the playoffs. So I was I got to pick a team. And so I kind of, Dallas and Buffalo are my 2 teams in each conference that I'm cheering for to win. Does not necessarily mean I think they're going to win, but those are 2 I'm cheering for to win, because that would be the most ideal Stanley Cup in my opinion. But I'm just watching them and being I hope you win. Jake's called the Senators "we" multiple times.
What?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, bro. That's too far. I think being I'm cheering for this team to win the cup because my team is out is totally fine. Going as far to be protected, he glazes Brady, and anytime I shit on him, tries to protect him, and I'm dog, this is crazy. This is the most offensive 60-point getter's ever gotten, bro. This is insane.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. I mean, personally, I'm from the standpoint of I will never say that I'm a fan of another team. I'll say that I agree.
That's what I said. I'm cheering for Buffalo to win this cup. I'm not a fan of the Buffalo Sabres. I'm just cheering for them to win the cup.
I feel that's fair. But there are definitely people out there that take it too far. And
yeah,
I'll say there are some fans out there that hate on the fans that joined the bandwagon. I saw that there was something that I thought was shitting on the Bruins. I saw a reel that I thought was shitting on the Bruins, but he was really just shitting on Bruins fans for being oh, we're out, and already starting to join another team's bandwagon. I'm all right, if your team's in the playoffs, there's simply no other team that you should be hoping that wins the cup that.
Yeah, until they're eliminated. Obviously, if you're a Kings fan, if you're, I think, a Ducks fan, I think if you were being brutally honest with yourself as a Bruins fan too, you kind of know your team's not winning the cup. Really, you think this team is good enough to win 4 rounds in a row? Deep down,
we'll see what my bracket says.
Sure, but I know deep down, they're not winning the cup. But I don't disagree with you. You still got to hope and believe that they're going to, even if deep down you're I know they're not going to win it. Because cheering for another team, if your team is in the cup, that's just bandwagoning. That's just bandwagoning. No differently than doing it in the regular season. No differently than just doing it in general. And I think that's dumb. I think you got to suffer with your team, dog.
Agreed. Oh yeah,
and blame your parents.
And you got to cry if you lose in the finals, or if you lose in one of those big momentous series. If you're not crying, you're not a man.
Yeah, dude. I cried after the Jays. Not proud of it. Not proud of it, man enough to say it. I cried after the Jays lost in Game 7 to the Dodgers. But to be fair, there was like 3 or 4 plays that like would have won us the game if they went the other way. So it was so incredibly close to happening that like that's made it even worse. And it went to like overtime, like the equivalent of losing game 7 overtime. Like,
yeah, agreed. I would be a liar if I said I've never cried about the 2019 Bruins finals loss in game 7.
I can actually say I've never cried because of Leafs though.
Really?
Yeah. Well, dude, we never get.
And you claim the hockey's your main sport. Actually, that's fair.
But like, dude, okay, sure, we lost in the second round. Like, we weren't even 50% of the way there.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point in like believing that? Like the 2 times we lost to Florida in the second round, by far and away, the most like dejected I was.
I mean, you were saying you were going to stop watching Leafs hockey. That's like where we were at.
Yeah. Well, obviously, that wasn't the case. I was just mad. But yeah. Well, actually, no. The one that made me the most mad was when we lost to the Habs in the COVID year. I went in my room and like threw shit around my room for like half.
I mean, I legitimately think you probably win the cup if you beat them.
Well, I mean, look, they went on the same run. Like they went on the equivalent run we would have went. Like they played Winnipeg, who was ass that year. Winnipeg was not good, and then they played a Vegas team that I honestly didn't think they were going to win. At all, that Vegas team was really good. But yeah, I don't disagree with you. I also think, I mean, fuck, dude. Last year we were the only team that took Florida to Game 7, and we had them on the ropes multiple times in the series. Like, arguably, last year was the closest we got, and like the most you could be like we could have and should have. We could have won the cup.
And now it's all gone. Anyway, let's stop looking at the past. This is called a preview for a reason. Let's get into this year's playoffs and talking about those series. All right. So we will start by. Just give it a second.
That's not the first.
I'm gonna cut this.
Okay. Did you mean to not put the intro also at the start?
I told you it wasn't working. It wasn't like coming in.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, wait a second. So we get into our first series. We're gonna go basically top to bottom on the west, and then top to bottom on the right, on the east. That's definitely what I meant.
This is based on the NHL bracket challenge too. For those of you who are wondering, when he says go from top to bottom, he means based on the bracket challenge.
Yes, which we will show at a later point in this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on a podcast, we recommend you go check out our YouTube channel at Fantasy Hockey Pucks, or clips on our Instagram or TikTok at Fantasy Hockey Pucks or at FHP_pod respectively. But let's get her going. Avs versus Vikings, and what an electric series.
Avs versus Vikings. Yeah, I agree.
Is that what I said?
Yep.
I'm dialed. It's all right.
Avs versus LA Kings.
Dude, they could be playing the Minnesota Vikings and they'd be fucking out in the first round. Same.
I was going to say, I'm not going to lie. I don't really feel like we need to spend much time on this. Like, Colorado is just far and away the better team.
I mean, they're a negative 530 favorite before the first game's even played.
Like that, so, I don't see a world where LA even makes this a competitive series. I think each individual game will be reasonably competitive. Like, I don't think LA is going to necessarily get blown out of the water, but I just see like it'll be like 4-2, 5-3. Like they'll just beat them every time, and like
they'll find a way to win. Yeah. Well, especially if Wedgwood.
I wouldn't even say find a way to win. Like they'll just beat them, but LA will keep it close.
Yeah, but I feel like, especially if Wedgwood or Mackenzie Blackwood, whoever, say they switch at some point. I know, but like, let's say they switch at some point for some reason. As long as they're getting solid goaltending out of them, I don't see the Avs dropping a game.
I guess, that's really the only way that, like, if their goaltending is really, really bad, then they.
Well, you need like Adrian Kempe from. You need Adrian Kempe from last year to come out and just have 12 points.
Well, I mean, they were really good in the playoffs. Like, remember they had the 5-forward power play that was like the Oilers couldn't stop it. Like, and the Oilers kept taking penalties, and they were going to beat them. And then Jim Hiller had the worst challenge of all time on the Evander Kane goal. That was just clearly a goal. And then they went shorthanded, and they literally had him to go up 3-0. They had him. And that I think arguably is one of the worst challenges I've ever seen in the history of sports. It was so clearly a goal and so clearly no need to challenge it. Put Edmonton right back on the power play, took the lead, and they never looked back, and they won 4 straight.
I can remember Azim being ecstatic about that. That was
Dude, I literally remember being like, they have him. Like being like the Kings have him. Like they're winning. They're about to go up 3-0. Like it's over. And yeah. But not happening this time. I think Colorado and probably 4. I mean, that's what I put on my NHL bracket. Like
I think we said 5 on the page to be safe because we don't want to look like, it's kind of disrespectful to say 4 to any team. Like you made the playoffs, you should last more than 4 games.
I don't think it's disrespectful. Avs in 4.
All right. And we are gonna say like if it's relevant, like who we think is useful to bet in the series, and in this one it's simply nobody because you're not getting any money from the Avs and the Kings are not going to make you money. So
yeah, I would just avoid betting this unless you're putting in a parlay and you're just adding an extra leg.
That's
the bet. That's the only way I'd bet it is in a parlay with something else.
Yeah, to increase it by like
you'll get an extra $4
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next series that we have. It is the Stars versus the Wild.
Easily the best one of the first round.
The best one. Yeah. Well, it's another one where it's like either of these teams could be cup winners and they're playing.
You know what I love? That both these teams are basically being given a free pass if they lose in the first round, being like it's insane you have to play a team that good in the first round. And I'm like, do you know how many times the Leafs played a 100-point team in the first round and got clowned for losing? You know how many times Tampa had 115 points, Boston 110, and we had 108? Like, do you know how many times that happened? 4 or 5 years that happened, and we got no grace for it. Now that the Leafs are out there, oh man, Montreal, you guys pulled Tampa in the first round. That's so unfair. It's okay if you lose in the first round. Hey, Minnesota, you haven't won a series since 2008. Oh, that's okay if you lose in the first round. You're playing Dallas. It's oh, Vegas, if you lose in the first round. Oh, Utah is a really tough wild card team. Are we for fucking real? No, if you lose the first round, you lose the first round. It's extraordinary.
But I feel like this is
season. I don't care that they're playing Minnesota because we had the best team of all time in Boston and who won our division. We were the second team in that division with 110 or 115 points. Tampa had 108 right behind us, and Florida had 100. Actually, no, Florida was really bad that year. Never mind. But still, I don't care. I actually don't care. I don't feel bad for you. I don't anything. The Leafs dealt with all of this.
I feel bad. This is a great Minnesota team. This is a team that we'll see in my bracket, but I think they could go far. And it's just a tough Dallas team that they get in the first round. That being said, some of the particulars of the series, like we already saw, Jesper Wallstedt is the starter for the Wild. They've chose to go with him over Philip Gustafsson. What do you think of that choice? Gustafsson's just been their guy all year.
Had an 853 in his last 10 games in the regular season, and Wallstedt was above 900. Gus Bus was he just wasn't it down the stretch. I think when your backup is as good and as highly touted of a player as Wallstedt, you're totally comfortable going to that. I don't think that's you're not going to the backup in that situation. Wallstedt is a top probably 25 goalie in the league. You're not. You know what I mean? You're still getting a starting caliber goalie coming in and playing. I think he is a little worse than Gustafsson. I don't disagree with you. Yeah. But I think you ride the hot hand. And I also don't think we're not seeing Gus Bus in the playoffs. If Wallstedt struggles, I don't think they'd be afraid to switch him.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
100%. But from what we saw last night, the last thing on a curse that we're doing this video a day late. But just an absolute.
Dallas didn't look good. Dallas really didn't look good. Watching that game, Minnesota was just the better team. The Kaprizov 3-1 goal, which was or 4-1 goal, sorry, which was an absolute nip. Actually, no, it was a 4-0 goal. The 4-0 goal. They literally, if you watch the highlight, every single Dallas Stars player, if you drew a line down the half of the ice, was on one half, and Kaprizov was on the other side. What are we doing? He had so much time that Harley tried to come over on the other side. I don't know where their left defenseman was, but Harley tried to come over to the other side to stop him. He actually may have been the left defenseman and was he started moving when he saw him and was probably still 15 feet away from him.
Yeah.
When he shot the puck. He was no.
I know. And I remember the callers being well, if you're going to give Kaprizov that much time, he's going to score. I don't know what you're expecting.
Now, I do think they got a little bit unlucky. One, Faber took a slap shot that was just missing the net and hit Hartman right in the knee and deflected perfectly to go right in the net.
I know they were on the broadcast. They said it was intentional.
Exactly. I'm like, no, bro. Like Faber, you don't shoot it that high if you're intentionally shooting it off of a player. Like you just aim it to go off their boots and in. Like you don't aim for their knee, which or even higher. So I think you just missed that. But I mean, you lost 5-1. So to say like a few unlucky bounces was the reason you lost. They were bad. They played poorly. I think personally, people blow game ones out of proportion. Game ones does mathematically massively increase your odds to win the series. I understand that. But when it's these two teams here, like I don't care what the math is. Dallas can win 4 in a row if they need to.
They were down Rupe Hintz, who's like their 2C and maybe one of the better 2Cs in the league. Like I think behind Draisaitl, kind of list ends there of other 2Cs that are better than him. Maybe Gino this year, who's been above point per game. Maybe Heischer, like you said, but he'll be back. He'll be back game 3 latest, I think is what I've been hearing. With the result of last night, we'll see if they push him to get back earlier. But yeah, as a result of that game, we see the odds go to negative 205 for Minnesota and plus 168 for Dallas. And simply, money on that Dallas 168 is money in the bank, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's one game. Like they could if they win the next game, those odds are probably going to be really close to 50-50 again.
Yeah.
Like it'll still be Minnesota's favorite because they're now the home team in the series by splitting, but like it's still gonna, I know. I think it gets dramatically overswayed one game, especially like I also think game 1 of round 1, you get even more of a pass because like it's like you haven't played a single playoff game. As Malkin said, we haven't been in the playoffs in 4 years. It's going to take us a little bit of time to get used to it again. Like you're not going to immediately step on the ice. Now, granted, some of these teams will, but like there also are teams that are going to struggle in game 1. It doesn't mean they're going to struggle the whole playoffs.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, do you have any other thoughts on this before?
So I have Dallas winning the series. I picked them to win the series before it started. I still think they're going to win the series. Like one game is not shaking my confidence in them. I agree. Hintz is a big loss, especially on the defensive end. Duchesne is not the same defensive center Hintz is, and I think that definitely made a big difference. But I would also say that like that first line for the Stars did not show up. Like the Johnston-Rantanen line did not take over the way they need to. As well, I don't think Ottinger played particularly well. And I think if they're going to play better, I think like Moose has got to be their number one guy. He was their number one guy last year and why they were so successful. And Ottinger's got to be better. And so I think it starts.
No, definitely agreed. And I mean, like I do have Minnesota in this series just because like, I don't know. I have this feeling that it's their year and it's like basically a coin flip. And I was like, well, why not? I think Minnesota is like hot this year. They got Kaprizov, they got Quinn Hughes, like put some money on them. I actually did. I have them in my parlay. But yeah, I think we can go either way. And I think you're more confident in Dallas than I am in Minnesota. So we'll go with your pick on this one. All right. Moving into our next series, we have the Golden Knights versus the Mammoth. This is an interesting one. I mean, by the numbers, if you look at the numbers, Vegas had 39 wins this season. And they're
Utah at 43. And they're the division winner, and Utah's the wild card team. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was
going to say. Very tough, bro.
This is elite. This is elite 1-8 seeding right here.
Yep.
But yeah, let's get into it a little bit. I
think first, to start it off, I think people are really sleeping on Utah. I don't think there's being enough respect being put on this team. They can roll 3 forward lines that can do what you need to do. And yes, do they have a little bit of an experience? For sure, because like basically no one on this team has played in the playoffs. But I think one, I think that's overblown. I don't think that's as important as people make it seem. And two, like Vejmelka was really good. He led the league in wins. Like Vejmelka can handle a heavy workload. They've got a sneaky good decor. Like I'm a really big fan of all 6 of their defense.
Dude, is it crazy for me to say that their decor and goaltending is better in this series?
I agree. I think it's both of them are better, and I would argue, and their depth is better. Like I would say, like Eichel, Stone, Marner is better than any 3 combo at what Cooley, Keller, Gunther, or Schmaltz. Like Vegas is better for sure. I'm not denying that, but like yes, Hart's played well, but he played well for like 8 games. Like they had like the worst save percentage in the league of goalies. Not like it may have been the worst, if not, it was bottom 3 or 4 for sure. And so they could very easily get poor goaltending. I agree. I think their defense core is really overrated. I think the lack of Petro, like losing Petro after last year, was a really, really big loss that I think is underrated, because like Hannafin, Anderson, like they got McNabb, but like McNabb isn't the same dog that Petro is on the defensive end, and he's also slow as hell. And same with Theodore. Like none of those guys are like the number one shutdown guy that you want on the ice at the end of the game. And
yeah, it's definitely a bigger loss than like people have expected. Like I think people expected the Golden Knights to still be pretty decent coming into this year and still be like one of the top teams, and I just don't think they're that anymore. I think it shakes your core when a player like Pietrangelo leaves. Like you saw it with the St. Louis, you saw it now with this, you see it now with Vegas, and yeah, I don't know. I think I was on the Vegas train, and I think I actually do have it in my bracket, but I'm all in on Utah now. If
it wasn't clear based on how I was talking about it, I picked Utah. This was kind of my big upset for round one that I took. I just think I'm a really big fan of Utah. I'm a big fan of what they're going to be able to do. I think that they have also sneaky home ice advantage that isn't being talked about a lot. Like that barn gets absolutely rocking when they're playing well. And I just don't think Vegas doesn't have that good depth. I don't love their defense core as a whole. And I think their goaltending is, there's a lot of question marks around their goaltending too. And I think when you're saying that, when you have issues with all three levels of the team, that's just not the team that I want to be picking.
Agreed. All right.
I think so. Yeah, I guess we're going with Utah, but Antonio did pick Vegas for his bracket, right?
Hey, we gotta ride in both camps a little bit. You know how it is. All right, the next series we have is Oilers versus Ducks. And simply, I think this is another series that's kind of like the Colorado versus Kings series. I really just don't see the Ducks coming out of this one, if I'm going to be honest. I mean,
I agree.
Unless there's a goaltending fall
I would say
apart
it's
by the Oilers.
disrespectful to say that you have the same expectations for this series as you do Kings Avs. I think that's
I don't think this goes 4 or 5. I still think this goes 5 or 6, but I say, unless there's an absolute goaltending like dismemberment on the Oilers half where they can't find a goalie that's not going to let in 5 goals a game, I don't see them losing the series.
I mean, well, yeah, Anaheim went 1-9 in the last 10 before the playoffs. Like they're not exactly coming in the way you want to be coming in. Like they were leading the division before that stretch.
Yeah.
And they almost fell into the wild card spot. Almost missed the playoffs, but then were able to win in that one game. But I agree. Like I have Edmonton, and I also am very confident in my Edmonton pick. I just think like Anaheim's going to keep it close. I would say there's a way better chance. Like I see it happening way more that Anaheim wins than LA does. I think there's just too many questions with the defense. Like the defense has not been good enough for Anaheim, and also you have a bunch of rookie forwards who like debuting for the playoffs, and like different than Utah, because Utah's young players that are debuting are like 23, 24, and like Anaheim's are like 20 and like 21. Yeah. Like that's a really, really big difference to be coming in and playing the playoffs that young.
No doubt in the next 2 years, we'll see a team that becomes a real true contender here in Anaheim. I just don't think this is their year.
Yeah, I agree. I also think Dostal could steal like 2 games. Like if Dostal stood on his head and just won them 2 games, I wouldn't be surprised. Because also, like Anaheim has the ability to score. That you give them 4 or 5 good chances with the Edmonton goaltending, they could theoretically score every single one of them.
Yeah, and I don't see McDavid by himself. I don't see the way that a goalie can stand on his head.
I picked Anaheim I picked Edmonton, and I may have actually even picked Edmonton in like 5. But I'm just saying, I'm seeing everyone online be like, oh, like this, why would you even bother spending time thinking about this? Like it's Edmonton all the way. And I just think that's too dis to Anaheim, in my opinion. I think, yes, they entered poorly, but if the playoffs started 2 weeks ago, like the feeling on this series would be way different.
Yeah. Okay. I see that.
And so that's why I'm just like, put a little bit of respect on Anaheim's name. They're not a fucking cakewalk. They're not the Kings.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they're probably the closest team to the Kings.
I would take Anaheim over Philadelphia for sure, and probably.
I mean, you see what Philadelphia did last night, though.
Yeah, I still would take Anaheim, but I don't agree with you. Yes, they are one of the worst teams in the playoffs for sure.
All right.
Before we go to the East, just quick say who you picked to win each of the first round series.
In the West?
Yeah. Just so like it's very clear that those are
to keep it fresh. I have Colorado, Minnesota, Vegas, which I switched to Utah, so I actually just switched.
No,
he
switching
sides.
When we show you our brackets on here, it's gonna be
okay, yes, but but I just switched it because you have a 3-day grace period from the NHL Bracket Challenge.
Did you actually change it?
I did. I actually changed it. And the Edmonton Oilers. Those are my 4 picks for the West.
I have Colorado as well. I have Dallas and then Utah, but I didn't Mickey Mouse pick it like Antonio, switch it last minute. I had that on my OG bracket and then Edmonton.
All right. You don't have to hate on me, bro. You just play the game. Hate the game, not the player.
Yeah, I know.
Not the other way around. Hit the game, not the player. Okay. Next series, we're moving to the East. Like we said, like it does on the bracket challenge, we're on top to bottom. And the first series is Buffalo versus Boston, the Sabres versus the Bruins. My team versus the team that's not made the playoffs in the last 9 years. So
15 years, but yeah.
Okay, well, I was taking a shot in the dark. I was like, I know it's not been 9 for sure. Let me not look like
I think it actually was 14, but yeah, just absurdly long.
But yeah, I mean, in my eyes, this is a 50-50 series. I took the Bruins, obviously, because, like I said, you're not a real fan if you don't pick your own team in the first round. Like, you don't have to have your team win in the cup. Obviously, I do have a bracket. I have multiple brackets, and one of my brackets has.
No, so you're saying if you were a Kings fan, you would pick them?
Yeah.
Really? I wouldn't.
I'm the type of player where it's like ride or die. Ride or die.
Yeah, fair. But I think if I was a Kings fan, bro, I would just have an understanding that, like, yeah, we aren't winning this.
Okay, but like, how do you look at yourself in the mirror in the morning and be like, I just
you've never entered the playoffs with a team as bad as the Kings. Like, we were not supposed to make the playoffs. You're not as bad as the Kings this year.
No, I agree.
You had like 10 more points than they did.
No, I don't. I'm not saying we're that bad of a team.
Also, they're also missing the equivalent of Geeky too in Fiala.
Yeah, which
is a massive loss.
Yeah,
like that's their third best forward after Kempe and Panarin.
Yeah.
So
this is all true. That said, I have the
Boston. But I do agree with you. Like if I was a fan of any other 15 teams, I would pick them to win in the first round, other than the Kings.
Yeah. But getting back to the point,
series,
I am more of a fan of the Bruins than Ben is of having the Sabres, so we're collectively taking the Bruins.
That's actually not true. He just didn't really give me the option. He was just like, the Bruins are in it, and we're just picking the Bruins. I actually love the Sabres in this series. I love the way they're built. I think UPL is a top 15 goalie, top 12, maybe even hot take in the league, especially the way he's been playing this year. I love borderline sexually attracted to the defense core. Like they just have the Bruins talk about the fact that they like to be big and mean. And of the 19 players that are going to be playing for the Sabres, 15 of them are 6 foot or over. And the Bruins are 11. Not saying that, but I'm just saying you drew outside of maybe Tampa, worst team.
Do you know who's
just trying to physically overpower them?
Do you know who playoff Nikita Zadorov is though? Zaddy. He is
he had one good cup run for Vancouver, bro. He had one good
He's a menace in the playoffs. And he's gonna bring it. And the Bruins are 3-1 in this season series versus the Sabres. They're afraid of us. And fun fact,
I said this on the pod already, but we were 0-4 against the Senators last year and beat them in the first round. Season series does not matter.
Fun fact, I was at the only game that the Bruins lost to the Sabres, so it was my fault, and we're basically perfect against them.
I think that the Sabres have a really, really good D-core that is going to shut you down and going to cause problems, and you have a weak offense. Like the offense is the worst part of your team if you were to break down the three facets of your team.
I would not agree with that.
I would say
your
goaltending is your best.
Our defense is our worst. Our defense is the worst part of our team. Our goal scoring has been fine. We've just been allowing.
I think you're going to struggle because you're not that talented.
Our bad defense has been hidden by.
I don't think you're that talented up front.
I
think the Buffalo D-core will shut you down, and I think you guys aren't going to be able to stop the Sabres because
our bad defense has been hidden by number 3 goalie in the league, Jeremy Swayman. But think he's just going to continue to be hot, and our defense can get it done in the playoffs. Zadorov just needs to take less penalties. He's been a big
That's also a big. The Sabres have, what is the Sabres power play? It's good. I think it's like top 10.
I can pull it up here quickly.
But you guys have
like
the most penalties in the league by like a massive margin. Like it's not second place was like 150 minutes short of you.
Yeah, and it's because of two players. It's literally actually three.
Cool.
It's Zadorov, Kastelic, and Jeannot.
We'll
take them out. We can take them out of the series. We're not taking Zadorov, but we'll take out Kastelic.
Kastelic is going to play. And so Jeannot.
Jeannot does not have to play.
Jeannot, there's no chance you guys scratch Jeannot. I'm sorry.
It's okay. They'll play cleaner. Zadorov was literally saying, I'm taking less penalties.
That's sure. Easier said than done. Then he gets on the ice and he loses control of himself.
He's a menace, dude. I don't know what else to say.
If you guys get into penalty trouble, that Sabres team is going to make you pay. Their power play is electric, especially at home. They're like what we went through this pre-pod. They're what, like the 5th best team at home, and you guys are the 2nd or the best.
Yeah.
So like, and their power play is really good, and I think they're going to make you pay if you take penalties. And I think you guys overall are going to struggle to score because they have a good goalie and a really, really good decor that is built for the playoffs.
You can hate all you want. You always hate on the Bruins like this out of the first round, but everybody stays down in the Bruins, and the Bruins will always come through. And I think Swayman's going to be hot. He himself can steal. I think he's going to steal either game 1 or game 2. And then we just need Pasternak and Geekie to keep doing their thing. We need to hope that we get the hot version of Geekie.
Geekie to keep doing his thing. He had 3 goals in the last like 25 games.
No, that's not true. That was like the stretch before, but he's actually had like 6 goals down the stretch.
In how many games?
In like the last 5 or 6 games. Like he had a hat trick and another 2-goal game and another couple single goal games. Like he was hot.
I'm fact checking you. I don't believe you.
Okay, go ahead. So we need them to both be performing, and we need the second line to be performing like it's been playing down the stretch actually all year since they got together. They put them together in around game 20. Since then they've been absolutely electric. So key players like Zacha, Geekie, Pasternak, Swayman, McAvoy. I think those 5 guys will get it done for us. And
he had a hat trick against Carolina on April 7th, and he scored 2 more goals after that. That was it. So he had 5 goals in his last 22 games, 21 games.
Okay, well, starting at the hat trick, how many games till the end of the season? It was not 21 games. He was on a goal drought there.
It was 4. No, I'm saying it was 4. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
Like it was the 17 that he didn't score in, and then added the last 4. But
I know he found his scoring touch though. There was obviously he wasn't able. Like he was.
If you remove the hat trick, he scored in 3 of the last 21 games. He scored a goal in 3 of the last 21 games.
Yeah, he was on a 17 game.
And you said he's going to keep it rolling. And you said he's going to keep
look at what he's doing in the last 5 games. He was electric in the last 5 games.
I mean, sure. He had a hat trick. So of course, if you break
and another multi-goal games.
No, he didn't. He had 5. He had 3, 0, 1, 0, 1.
Okay.
And no assists in there.
Right.
You were about to say he had assists in there, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I know you were.
I was pretty sure.
Nope.
But no, it's what he looked like at the start of the season.
He had 5 points
based off the eye test. Like he figured out how to score again. And I'm
okay, but don't say he's going to keep rolling. That's the only thing I just disagree with the terminology. I know that's
5 goals in the last 4 games. Like
3 of them in 1 game, though. Whatever.
Okay, that's still rolling.
All right, you pick Boston. I pick Buffalo. Let's move on. We're not really going to convince each other to change their minds, so let's just keep her moving.
All right, our next series is the Lightning versus the Canadiens. As we are getting salty here, this is another contentious series from us. I think at the end of the day, we do both have. Well, at the end of the day, we both have Tampa.
We both picked the same team. So,
but for a long time, I was like, well, the Canadiens. I
know, and then I literally just broke down Tampa, and you changed your mind almost immediately.
No, the main thing for me is that Dobson's going to miss the series, basically, and that's huge.
And their goaltender's Jakub Dobes.
That as well, but I think like if they had Dobson, I'm picking Montreal. They simply don't, and I'm taking the Lightning.
I think their decor's massively overrated, the Habs. I think you got Hudson, sure, like that's a good player, but are you really going to comfortably say he's going to stop Kucherov? No. You got Matheson, same thing. Would you say he's comfortably going to stop Kucherov? No. You have Jaden Struble, one of the worst defensemen in the league. You have David Reinbacher making his playoff debut, absolute W, rookie defenseman. That's going to go well. And I can't. And then you got Arbor Jacka, who honestly is actually kind of fine. I don't hate Jacka on that last pairing, but there's a lot of question marks and not one defenseman I can comfortably say. Caden Gooley. Outside of Gooley, there's no defenseman I can say that will comfortably stop the big four forwards of Tampa.
Well, I mean, that's why I said Noah Dobson. Like,
and their goaltender.
Dobson's
not that good at defense either. He's an all-offense guy too.
He moves the needle for me.
Fair, but that's what I'm saying. I think their defense core, they've built a good D-core of players on paper and one that'll translate well to a video game because they're all good players. But the composition does not lead to the team being successful, in my opinion. Much of how I feel about their forward core, to be honest. I think I like a lot of their players individually, but when you put them as the compilation of forwards in a team, I'm just like, there's far too many question marks on that second line. You're really going to believe in Oliver Kapanen and Ivan Demidov to really get it done as your second line. And you come back with not that much better depth down the lineup with like Kirby Doc, Josh Anderson. Like those guys are not moving the needle nowhere close to as much as Nick Paul, Yanni Gord. I would argue Gage Gonglaves. I'm a big fan of him. Look at his like last 30 games. He had like 18 points or something in his last 30 games. Like he was really good. Bjorkstrand down there in the bottom six. Like I don't like now. Granted, people are obviously going to be like, you're overhating. That's totally fair. This is obviously my personal opinion on them. I don't also think they're as bad as I'm making them out to be, but I'm not a big fan of the Habs. I don't think they're built to be successful, and I think Tampa's the exact opposite. They're built to be successful, and they've been successful.
I mean, and you're also a Leafs fan who's played them in the playoffs before, and there's some deep-rooted hate there for sure. I mean, I have some too.
Really, you think I hate Montreal more than I hate Tampa? That is not even close to true, bro.
That's fair.
I hate Boston 1, Tampa 2, Florida 3. Like those are my three least favorite teams.
I would say Tampa's 1 for me as well. Yeah, I don't know. I will agree that if you're looking at their lines, like the forward core, like down the lineup for the Lightning, just outmatches what the Canadiens have.
And also Victor Hedman's expected.
I'm not as much of a hater though on like the Josh Andersons and the Philip Deneaus down the lineup for Montreal. I think
I did actually. Deneau's a horse on that third line, but I mean, I live with a Habs fan and I hear how he talks about all of them, and I watch them a lot, and I'm just like, yeah, like I could probably count 20 to 25 games where they came back like down a goal in like the last 2 minutes, like very similar to what you guys did when you set the record, where you were like, yep, there's a minute left. We're down 2. I still think we could win this game. Like that was them this year.
Yeah.
And I feel like that also partially overblew their stats, and like they had a ridiculous amount of points. And so you look at them and think, but I think they aren't there yet. Like I agree. I think they will. This is a surprise that they got this many points. And I would have said, if you'd told me before the year, I would have been surprised they got that many points.
I agree. I think they did better than expected, but at the same time, I think they're down the stretch there. They were like 9-1 to end the year. Like they are extremely hot. I mean, Caulfield's doing his thing. Suzuki's a Selke candidate, 100-point guy. Like their first line, if they are hot, their first line can win you a series. The question is for me, like, can Caulfield score 7 goals in that first series? Can Suzuki help shut down Kucherov?
I also think you're massively underrating the fact that you gave Swayman a massive X factor for the Bruins, and Vasilevsky was just as good.
Yeah, that's also
this year. Vasilevsky, Sorokin, and Swayman were the 3 best goalies, and Wedgwood really were the 4 best goalies by a pretty significant margin this year. Like there was a pretty big fall off to the next tier of goalie, and so I think like sure you can, but also the Habs have one line that you comfortably are like they can dominate, and they'll just match Radish and Moser against them every time. And I mean it's unreal, and you got Vasi behind you.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. We don't need to keep going back and forth on this. I agree. Like
I know, but you were proposing like I could see the first line take over, and I'm like, for sure, this is the way they stop it.
Yeah, I agree, but it's still possible that.
No, I know, but you were saying like we don't need to be redundant, and I'm like, no, that wasn't a redundant point. It was me being like, this is how Tampa stops that first line.
Okay, I don't like it could go either way for me. Still, I think that I would give like.
I'm not trying to convince you to change your mind. I'm just outlining. You gave Habs have a really good first line. This is theoretically how Tampa would try and stop it. That's all I was trying to say.
Okay.
You don't need to be like, just move on and say your next point.
Okay. Anyway, so Tampa is the favorite at -245. Montreal's a plus almost 200 underdog at this point in time. No game played. I would not be opposed to putting money on Montreal. Like I am a Tampa fan.
That's how confident I am Tampa wins. I would just bet Tampa.
I mean, we defer there. we defer there. Yeah, I don't know. I think Montreal. I think the odds that Tampa wins are still like 55 to 60%, but to be a plus 200 dog, that the math there isn't mathing. So
are they actually?
You guys
no, they're
can
plus
choose-
198 to be exact. But
okay,
no, no,
Bruh.
I'm not saying.
002 is like literally nothing. You're fucking. You bitch. You bitch.
Capot successfully rage baited. But yeah, that's fair. But that's how confident I am that Tampa wins. That like plus 198 is not good enough odds for me to be like, yeah, I'd bet that.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
Like if it were like,
I simply disagree. But
plus
you guys,
280.
you guys
be
can make the
where I
decision.
bet it.
It's your own money. You guys can make your own decisions. Gamble responsibly if you gamble at
Yeah,
all.
by the way, for the record, we're not telling you how to gamble. We're just providing you advice. Okay. This is just what we would do. We're not telling you what to do. You guys obviously make your own decisions, but these are what we would do. And we know our stuff. You know, we're experts.
100% full-time job, by the way.
I mean,
yes,
I'm doing it as much as school right now. I'm not going to lie.
That's actually ridiculously true. Ridiculously true. Especially, I mean, with all the graphics coming around playoffs and end of year, yes. But yeah, without further ado, let's keep her moving. Let's move on to the next series: Hurricanes versus Senators. And boy, did the Hurricanes ever look good? That was in their 2-0 win last night. Again, I will say blessing and a curse that we've seen a game.
I would say this one was the one that really changed my opinion the most. I
thought it was closer to 50-50 on this series, but then you see game one.
That's what I mean.
Freddie looked unreal. Shitmark looked like shitmark for half the game, and he looked unreal for the other half.
He gave up 2 goals. Allmark was not the reason you lost.
I agree, but like the first goal was pretty bad.
Sure, but I would say that the glove save he made on Ehlers,
makes up for it.
Cancels out the bad goal, and the second goal is not his fault.
I know he was just being very, bipolar. As we
Dude,
said.
you just love to hate on him, man. He gave up 2 goals and they scored none. Like, how is your reflection not Brady's most overrated player on the planet? The Senators are ass.
No, Allmark will lose them this series. Mark my words.
Brady Tkachuk will lose them this series because he spends more time in the penalty box because he's like, let me aura farm and fight off the opening draw instead of just go score a goal like the real best players in the world do.
Buddy, that's where he gets his crayons. It's like a nice mid-game snack. It's a mid-game snack, dude. He's fucking eating crayons.
He's probably got the Peter Griffin build, bro. You know how Peter Griffin's like, yeah, I've had a brown crayon stuck in my ass for like 5 years, so every time I wipe, I think I still have shit. Dude, if we were announcers right now, they'd have to mute our mics,
I hadn't heard that one before. That took me by surprise, dude. and the worst part is like I can see it. Like I can see.
Because he's like, bro, I wipe and it's brown every time.
Yeah, I could definitely see them saying that on their podcast. Like him talking to Matthew just being like, "You're so fucking dumb."
Yeah, I know.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, I did hate on Brady, and I think he's an overrated hockey player. But I think what I feel like I need to, not be too harsh here. What he does for the game is unbelievable. Like I would argue that the 2 Tkachuk brothers are the 2 best, like,
dude, their personalities are so important.
Personalities for the entire game. Yeah. I would say the 2 of them. Like they're a reason that the NHL basically told them to have a podcast. Like there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I think we need more of it, honestly.
I think he's massively, massively overrated. Like, I don't think he's a top 30 player in the league.
I don't think that's ridiculous. Like, dude,
he had like 65 points last year, and people treat him like a 100-point player.
Yeah. No, I will say, like, I'm pretty sure that there's around 30 guys that are 70-point getters, like, every year. And
these are his career point totals. 45, 44, 36. That was in 56 games, to be fair. 63, 83, good for him. 74, and then 55, 59. Now, granted, actually looking at this, he had 59 and 60 this year, to be fair. But, like, he's not a 100-point player. And, like, looking at this, he's a, like, 70 to 80-point player. And arguably less because he had 55 and 72 last year, which is really bad.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think this squad healthy, the Senators squad healthy, like their decor healthy, could give them a real run. No, but I mean, like not coming off of injuries, like being fully, like they had one of their 6 starting defensemen playing 2 games left in the year.
Oh no, they were resting. To be fair, they'd already clinched. Like Sanderson and Shabbat came back and played, and then rested again.
I know, but like I still think that like you got to think there's some nagging things.
No, for sure. But I don't disagree with you. I think 100% healthy Carolina still dusts this team. Maybe in 5 if they're healthy. But
I know. I think it's closer to
Carolina. I think Carolina does what Ottawa wants to do, just simply better. Carolina's never lost in the first round under Brindamore. They've made it to the second round every single year he's been their coach. They have, I think, the 3rd most series wins since like 2020, behind like only Florida and Tampa, Florida and Colorado, sorry, or Florida and Dallas. No, Florida. Okay, no, that's not true. Because that's definitely not true. But they're like top 5 for sure. And they've never even made it to the Cup. So that tells you that they're just very successful early on every time. I think they're great at home. Like if they needed to, they would just win all 4 at home. If it really came down to push comes to shove like that. Yeah. And I'm all over the Canes in this one.
Dude, especially if you have Anderson like turning back the clock. Like I haven't seen Freddie Anderson play like this in a while. Like that game, he looked phenomenal. Yeah. I don't know if
as long as he can avoid that.
So the controversial glove save was just insane. Like insane. I haven't seen this save a puck like that since Tim Thomas.
That wasn't a goal. By the way, that just wasn't a goal. That wasn't a goal. For Senators fans listening, that wasn't a goal.
Oh, I agree. It wasn't a goal, but from the overhead.
If you call it a goal on the ice, you go to video replay and call it back, it very clearly wasn't a goal.
I know. It's just from what the fan saw, we didn't get all the angles. From what the fan saw, the overhead, it's like the glove was sitting on the red line, and the back of the glove was like in the net, and the front of the glove was like out of the net, and the puck got shot into it, hit off the back.
There has to be a line, like when the puck is in the net, you have to be able to conclusively say that there is goal line, space, then puck. And like when it's in the net, in the glove, and part of the glove is outside of the net, there's no way that that's a goal. Because even if the puck is in the net and half the glove is out of the net, that means probably a third of the puck at least is out of the net. Yeah. Because like I get it sits deeper than the glove will be, but like probably still a third of that puck was not in the net.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was an insane save. Like it just insane.
Yeah, unreal. The first one was arguably better, I would say.
Yeah.
That first, because the second one, like it wasn't as good of a shot as that first one too.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a throw anything on, and
just hope.
My lord. All right, so yeah, finishing it up, we both have Carolina. I think we both have Carolina going a few rounds. And yeah. Not too much more to say. I think I was hoping the Sens were going to keep this closer, but it looks like it's not going to be that. Who's our last series here? Yeah. Okay. Last series we have, it's Pittsburgh Penguins versus Philadelphia Flyers, the age-old rivalry. I mean, a little bit different.
Pennsylvania.
Little different now that Claude Giroux's gone, and Couturier is a shadow of what he used to be. So it's really just Sidney Crosby and like Letang that have survived. Yeah, Malkin. Sorry, I should say that as well. But kind of fresh look for Philly, older look for the Pens, and I'm gonna be honest. I thought the Pens were gonna run away with this one, but after last night, it's like there's a question mark in the back of my brain.
I mean, for sure, especially because Pittsburgh just straight up isn't that good of a team objectively also. So like it wasn't like Edmonton matching against Anaheim where you can comfortably say, yeah, Edmonton is a good team. Anaheim might play well and make it interesting, but Anaheim is a good team. You don't necessarily feel that way about Pittsburgh. I think, if there was any team other than like the the division winners, like the elite teams that I'd be comfortable game 1 loss means nothing, it would be this one. Like they have the most experience in the playoffs. I trust Sid to not be rattled by 1 loss. But I don't disagree. It didn't look good, man. It didn't look good. Like I'm still comfortably saying I pick Pittsburgh, but if the second game goes very similar to the way the first, even if Pittsburgh wins, but it kind of is played out the same way, I would not be comfortable in my Pittsburgh pick at all. And
the thing is, like on the score sheet, it's like 3-2, but it was really a 3-1 game, and they just made it look close at the end.
But also, like 3-1 did not do it justice for how much I felt Philadelphia outplayed Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like I felt Philadelphia was just like very much the better team in the game. And
Well,
like
the thing
should
is,
have been the
I
winner.
think we can agree the Pittsburgh goaltending has been overperforming all year. And I mean, arguably, you could say the same about
say the
Vladar,
same
but
about Vladar.
I'm more confident that Vladar is an actually good goalie than I am that one of like Stuart Skinner is going to be the guy.
You know what's really? Yeah. I think if I'm Pittsburgh, I'm not afraid to go to Shelovs. He started for Vancouver 2 years ago and won them a series against Nashville and was quite good. He's done it before in the playoffs. His regular season was really, really good. I think if Skinner struggles, I don't think it's ridiculous to go to Shelovs. Like I just feel like he's played well enough and he has experience, so it's not like you're turning to a complete rookie goalie, even though he is technically a rookie. And yeah, I mean, it was not Stu's fault last night. Like they lost 3-2. Like when you give up 3 goals in the playoff game, like I don't think that's on the goalie's fault. I didn't think one of them were like particularly bad on him either. Yeah. I wouldn't say they were particularly like difficult saves. Like I feel like he could have made them, but like not one that I'm saying is the goalie's fault. But yeah, we'll see. I would say after that, I probably have Pitt in 7. After that game, like
the betting odds, the betting odds are like Pittsburgh's plus 146. Like I'm taking that all day right now.
Yeah, but like look at they lost the first game, and look at those odds compared to the Dallas odds.
Yeah,
like Dallas jumped like 50 plus extra points, which is insane in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I agree. I'd bet Pittsburgh. I mean, I still think they're going to win the series, and they're now the underdogs. So, I mean, that's pretty clear. Pretty clear pick to me.
Yep.
All right, so that wraps up the first round. Let's get into our overall bracket. Kind of give you just brief thoughts on it. I mean,
we'll let you present first
because they're hypothetical games. But so yeah, in the West, you guys know I had Colorado, Dallas, Utah, Edmonton. I have Colorado beating Dallas in the second round. I think Colorado is the best team in the league. They basically are built the same way as Dallas, I feel, where they have 3 really good defensemen, a good goalie, and a really deep forward core, but like Colorado just builds it better. I like their depth better. I actually like Wedgwood better than Ottinger in a series. And I think they get a nice warm-up. And the Stars are probably coming out of that a little banged up, beating Minnesota, because that's a tough series. So I have Colorado. Out of Utah, Edmonton, I mean, Utah, good story, but I think Edmonton dismantles them pretty handily. I think Edmonton matches up very similarly to how they play, and Utah won't be able to take advantage of that. And then in the conference finals, Colorado against Edmonton, I have Colorado very similarly when these two met in the conference finals 2 years ago, and 3 years ago, and Colorado swept them. I like Colorado. I think Edmonton doesn't match up well against them, and I think Colorado is just a way better built team. Moving to the East, I had Buffalo, Tampa, Carolina, Pittsburgh as my 3 teams. I have Tampa dismantle Buffalo and Carolina dismantle Pittsburgh pretty handily. I think those 2 teams are just the best 2 in the East, and I think there's a pretty significant fall off before another team that's similar to them in my opinion. So Carolina and Tampa in the conference finals, and give me the team that gets to the cup over the team that loses in the conference final every year. Tampa's an absolute wagon. I'm a massive fan of their team. Like I love their D-core, love their goalie, love their forward core. And so in the finals, Tampa against Colorado, if it wasn't obvious, I have the Tampa Bay Lightning winning the Stanley Cup.
You know, I think it's interesting. Like we're pretty similar here. I'll pull mine up now.
And I went the nice, boring Colorado Tampa Stanley Cup final that I feel like everyone is picking.
I think we have the same Final Four. I have the difference is obviously on the West. I have Avs, Wild, Golden Knights, Oilers. Then I go Bruins, Lightning, Carolina, Pittsburgh, and we finished the same Final Four. I have Avs, Oilers, Tampa, Hurricanes. I just think that the Oilers.
I think those are the way the path goes. I don't think Edmonton is the 4th best team in the league, but I would say based on the path, that's the pretty obvious one. We don't really have any hot takes in there, but like at the same time, like I just don't see anyone. Yeah. I mean,
and we talked about this, but recently, like, we haven't really been seeing a lot of upsets, like, in the later rounds. Like, the better teams
like
generally.
In previous years, the best teams are typically in the Final Four. Like, Carolina.
Like, going back to St. Louis, I don't think we've had a team in the finals that wasn't
Carolina
division winner.
Yeah.
Or, like, at least, like, number 2.
I know. That's what we were talking about this off the pod. Like, I mean, the last time a team won a cup that was unexpected was the Blues. And if you go even further, like, I mean, those Pittsburgh teams were expected to win Washington was expected to win. Those LA, those Chicago teams were all expected to win. Like you get into like the
we come back to Boston 2011.
That's what I mean. Like you're getting into the early 2010s outside of St. Louis for unexpected teams to win the cup. So like it's not insane that we like don't have a Vegas or a Buffalo like going super far because we just have no recent reason to believe that. Sorry, I kind of took over your bracket. I'll hand it back to you.
Oh, good one. Yeah, like I was saying, I have the Oilers taking over at the Avs. I feel like if they get to the Western Conference Final, like for the third straight year, they're just going to do it, go to the finals again. And I have them winning the cup over Tampa. I feel like if they get there again, they're just going to finish it.
Fair. Yeah, I don't know. I think that Tampa Bay team is built like an absolute wagoon. And if they get Victor Hedman back, which it sounds like they might get him back at the end of this Montreal series, but I think if they're already talking that way, he'll be back in the playoffs if they move beyond the first round. And I think getting Hedman back, he'd play on that third pairing. Like I really don't think he's touching their top four. I think getting Hedman back's a big get, allowing him to play third pairing, second power play. I think he can really take over against those caliber players. But yeah, I mean, hard to argue with really taking Edmonton there. I just obviously personally feel Tampa.
Yeah, no, I mean, part of it is just me saying like I do not want Tampa winning the cup again, so it's part of my bias getting to it. But at the same time, definitely can see the Oilers winning, and I'm hoping that they do.
Yeah.
But all right, let's get into the next segment. All right, so this next section here is called Playoff Hidden Heroes. Basically, it's one player for each team that we think needs to show up if they're going to make a deep cup run this year. I'll hand it over to you.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say, if we're being honest, we kind of took the idea from Puck Empire, for those of you who saw it, but it's slightly different. His is more like a dark horse player. This is different. Like it's kind of less obscure players than that. It's more like if the team is going to win the cup, what player, or not necessarily win the cup, but win multiple rounds, what player is going to need to step up. So without further ado, let's kick it off with the Carolina Hurricanes. And the player that we've come up with is Logan Stankoven. He slots into the lineup as the 2C for the team. He had a really good game one. I thought that him, Hall, and Blake line was just their best line. I mean, it scored both the goals.
No, they looked really good. And he's been carrying the line too.
Yeah, I've always been a really big fan of his game. I mean, I thought he was going to have a monster year this year. I was all over him once he went to Carolina because I saw the opportunity for the 2C role last year. He did pretty well last year, and then he really struggled for the majority of the regular season this year, but he got really hot in April and has carried that straight over into the playoffs and is just simply cooking.
Agreed. Going on to Ottawa. I mean, this
one's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's Linus Ullmark. Basically, everybody else, like if the rest of the team plays how they played in the regular season and Linus Ullmark stands on his head, they're going to win a round.
It's hard to say because Carolina, and you can play that well, and just Carolina could still beat you.
I mean, that's why I say if he stands on his head, if he's like the 920 save percentage Ullmark that we've seen in the past, and not like the shit mark that we've seen in the playoffs for most of his career.
I mean, yeah. It's just very glaringly obvious, right? Like the team, all the underlying statistics of the team suggest they're extraordinarily good, like division winning caliber good, and their goaltending has been like the worst in the league. So yeah, got to be good. Moving on to the next series in the Metro Division, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins, and we've come with Igor Chinnikov. Obviously, there's high expectations for guys like Crosby, Malkin, Carlson, right? Like those guys have to get it done. For any team, if any team's going to win rounds, their best players have to do well. The secondary scoring, I think, starts with Igor Chinnikov over a guy like Raquel, over a guy like Rust. I'm that high on Chinnikov. That might be.
Yeah, we should have probably also said that you kind of assumed that Mantha's going to keep doing what he's doing, like the leading goal scorer. But
yeah, but I would include him in the secondary scoring tier.
Like
he's in the tier with Chinnikov, but I would say it's more important that Chinnikov does well because he plays higher in the lineup, and the way that he produced was more reliable. Like Mantha had the highest expected goals above expected this year by like a decent margin. Like Chinnikov is a nasty sniper, and he's playing in their top six. And I mean, yeah, this is a bit like I'm really high on him and think like his ceiling is really, really high. And think if he gets to the ceiling, like I think if they win 2 rounds, he could have 10 goals through 2 rounds, and that would not surprise me.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
he's
fair. I feel like they also need
electric
something solid out of their goaltending though, because like
Agreed.
neither
But I mean,
Stuart
it's tough. I mean, bro, it's tough. This team has a lot of holes, and there's a lot of players that need to play well if they're going to win. So it's tough to narrow it down to one.
Agreed.
Moving on to
another team,
I feel the same way about the Philadelphia
literally
Flyers.
about to say the same thing.
We came to the conclusion of Porter Martone. I mean, there's a pretty direct correlation between the Flyers playing better and getting back into the playoffs and Porter Martone playing on this team. He's almost become the catalyst of their offense, as crazy as it is to say that he played like single-digit games, and that's the case in the playoffs. I mean, he scored in game 1 just an electric snipe over the shoulder of Stuart Skinner. And I think there's an argument to be made he's their best forward already. And so I think it's vitally important that he keeps scoring.
Those are some big words are failing me right now, but those are that's a big statement by you. And I mean, we'll have to keep watching. We'll watch his career. I don't doubt that in the future, in the next couple of years, he will be their best guy. But I don't know. Saying he's their best guy out the womb already is kind of.
He was point per game. He had I think he got a
big
point in almost every game he played in the regular season.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, players get hot, but yeah, we'll continue to watch. Moving on to the Buffalo Sabres, the player we have is Josh Norris. I think he's on their second line currently.
Very similar to Carolina. You expect the Tage Tuck line to cook, and like if they're going to be successful, that has to cook. And so when you get into the further success, oh my gosh, is it lagging for you too?
Your voice is fine. It's just the camera that's being really
okay.
stupid.
Just the audio.
Yeah, you're just kind of there like
I don't know. I know. I'm having horrible Wi-Fi issues right now. Oh, all right. We're back. We're back. But yeah, I think I also really, when you look down this Sabres lineup, there's a lot of question marks after that first line, right? Like the Krebs, the Quinn, the Zuckers, the Norris, like are those guys going to Doan? Like are those guys going to be able to find it in the playoffs? And you need more than one line scoring to be successful. And I think it starts with Norris. He's probably their best player in their bottom 9. And I think it starts with them. And obviously center is vitally important too. And he's a good penalty killer. So yeah, he needs to stay healthy, most importantly.
Yeah, no, 100%. I feel like, yeah. All right, I'm not going to add too much more into that. We'll move on to the Boston Bruins, the team they're playing. Where we have
the exact reasoning.
Yeah, Pavel Zacha, 2C. I mean, it's a little bit of like the Bruins all year kind of relied on that second line, and Pavel Zacha was the main guy. Obviously, he had the most goals on that line. And so I expect Geekie and Pass to just kind of keep going, and Lindholm will be all right between them. But that second line, if they aren't scoring, we're not going to win hockey games. So.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like your expectations for the first liner, they'll do their thing, and so you need them to step in. The next team, continuing in the Eastern Conference, the final Eastern Conference series, the Tampa Bay Lightning. We have Victor Hedman. For those of you who don't know, he's been, according to John Cooper, on Friday night. He said, obviously, we keep this stuff close to the chest this time of year, but he kind of was hinting at Hedman likely returning at the end of this first round series. Likely, they said it sounded like he was going to travel to Montreal. Unclear whether he was going to play, but it felt like one of game 5, 6, 7, he will debut. And so knowing that, I mean, he's probably going to slot in on their third pairing, but he has a wealth of experience. He's still immensely talented. You know, he's dealt with injuries for most of the year. And I mean, like almost a trade deadline acquisition in the middle of the playoffs is insane. Yeah.
Very capable, like could be their PP2 guy, like capable of playing heavy minutes if you need him to. Obviously, if he's back from injury, I don't know exactly what's happening. I don't know if it's like physical or mental, but if he's able to play those heavy minutes, that'd be huge for them. Like,
yeah, even if he's only third pairing, like that's an extraordinarily reliable third pairing guy.
Yeah, over like a guy like Nat Stu or somebody like.
Yeah, somebody you can play like even 15, 16 minutes a night at minimum, and like he's going to be solid out there for those minutes. And the final team of that series, the Montreal Canadiens, we have Jakub Dobes. I mean, if you look up and down this roster, like it's on paper, it's really, really good on both forward and defense, even without Noah Dobson. And then you get to the goaltending, and it's pretty questionable. Rookie goaltenders in the playoffs generally tend to not do well, and we've mentioned this before. Habs have two. Like, their tandem is literally both rookies. So, I mean, he's got to be good. He just has to be good. I don't really think any other reason to say Tampa's going to be good. Montreal's like not an elite defensive team, so Tampa's going to get their chances. And Dobes is going to need to make some saves if they're going to win.
100%.
It's easy when it's a goal.
I'm not gonna add on to it. I don't want to just keep rambling. But moving on, we have the Colorado Avalanche. We're heading over to the West now. Our player for them is Devon Taves, obviously playing on that pairing with Makar. He's looked like an elite defenseman. He's looked like a top 20 defenseman in the league at times in his career, and he just took
this year, I was going to say, he's really been like one of their only notable players in a like top role that is struggling, that had a bad year. Like almost everyone in their top 6 and top 4 had a really good season, except for him, obviously. And I mean, he was on Team Canada. He was solid on Team Canada. Obviously, he's not necessarily known to be a points guy, but you'd expect a better season out of him. And I think if they're going to go on a deep run, they need the Robin to their Batman of Makar to be at his best.
Yeah, like, I agree. I mean,
rolling 28 minutes a night, he needs to be good.
Yeah, he said himself, like 3 words to describe his play is pass to Kale, but you need a little bit more out of him if you're gonna win a Stanley Cup.
I mean, like if you look back to when they won the cup, like he had some big moments, he had some big points. Like he needs to step up and do it, especially when like the decor is not super loaded behind him. Like it's solid, but it's not like Burns, Malinsky, Manson. Like that's not Kulak. Like that's all right, but like you need a lot of that first pairing.
Agreed. It's not like what you had before. Like you've definitely taken a step back off of what you've had in previous runs. Moving on, we'll go to LA. Don't think that they're going to be going very far regardless, but the one guy for us that needs to step up is Artemi Panarin. If they,
this is simple. They need a miracle. They're probably going to need him to get like 10 to 12 points in this series.
Yeah, you kind of need what you got out of Kempe last year. Like Kempe, I'm pretty sure had like 12 points in the first 7 games last year.
Yeah,
and you need something.
It's insane because we said like this isn't meant to be the best player, but I just think for this specific series, it's such a David versus Goliath that like your best player just has to be otherworldly if you're going to win.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, moving on.
The next team, the Dallas Stars. This one's a bit of a weird one. Not gonna lie, this is definitely me. This is all me. But I have Tyler Myers. And obviously that's going to jump off the pages. Why the hell do you have Artemi Panarin and then the next player is Tyler Myers in the same segment? Hear me out, okay? Dallas has a monster top 3. Like Lindell, Heiskanen, and Harley is about as good as you can get in terms of your top 3 defensemen in this league. Their next 3 defensemen are about as bad as you can get in Bixel, Lundqvist, and Tyler Myers typically. I don't know why I said typically, and Tyler Myers, period. They need someone to play in that top 4 role that's going to play 20 plus minutes a night. I don't trust Lundqvist or Bixel to be doing that. Like Myers is the guy that I trust to be doing that. He's going to be probably on that first penalty kill, probably second, but it'll probably be him and Harley on that second penalty kill. And you know what you're going to get out of that forward court, right? Like they can roll their entire top 12. They're going to get you goals. That goals has never been the issue. It's they need good goaltending, then they need their defense to step up. And when you have such a glaring hole in your second pairing, I think if Myers can come in there and solidify that second pairing, you can play that bottom pairing like 12 minutes a night and shelter the hell out of them. But you need Myers to be elite in order to do that.
Yeah, I will say
by Myers standards.
Yeah, Tyler Myers elite in the Big 2026. I just as an honorable mention as well with Rupe Hintz missing time, I think also important that Matt Duchene plays well in that 2C role while Hintz is away if they're going to want to come back in this series. Until Hintz is back at least, but it doesn't sound like that's going to be anytime soon. So,
Yep, that is true. All right, moving on to the Minnesota Wild. We have Ryan Hartman sticking with a very similar theme throughout this list. The 2C on a team needs to step up, although actually he is playing on the first line, but him and Eric Schneck like flip-flop a lot. Like I check their lines whenever.
Eric Schneck seems more like the number 1 guy anyway. Like
exactly, and so he is technically I think playing with Kaprizov, but he just needs to be good. Like they have a pretty clear lack of depth at center. Like Eric Schneck and Hartman being your two top centers is not really the best when you're comparing yourself to Dallas, Colorado, and such.
It's like
and that's why he needs to be good. Like
it's like
he
Boston
needs to be
level, like Boston level center core right there.
Yep. Like I think to be successful, like you need probably 3 or 4 goals out of him each series. You need him to be laying the body. You need him to be getting in people's faces. Like he's a bit of a rat, and you need him to do that, but you need the goal scoring to come with it. Just that simple. That's why you should have went out and gotten Trocheck.
Also agreed. Or like anybody.
Or O'Reilly or someone.
Braden Shen, like somebody.
No, that was a W trade, bro. There's a reason that I undertraded for Shen in the playoffs and missed the playoffs with him.
Yeah, I mean, that was simply they got ripped off. But let's keep moving. Vegas Golden Knights is the next team, and Brett Howden is our...
Sticking with the same theme. The Vegas Golden Knights second-line center. Brett Howden.
Actually, they're 2C right now?
They're playing Carlson on the third line to try and create a really defensive mismatched line. And Carlson's so good defensively.
So he's like arguably their 3C.
But he plays a lot. Like he plays like 18 minutes now. Like he plays about the same amount as a 2C. Like they
finally gave up on Marner as the 2C.
Yes. Well, yeah, Tortorella came in there and immediately stopped with that random bullshit.
He was like, well, what is this? What is happening?
Yep. I don't blame him. You know, we glazed Cassidy, but that was a pretty poor decision.
To be fair, he was probably Cassidy was just like, fuck, I need to change something. I need like anything to change because they were playing so.
It's Marner, Eichel, Stone, and then Barbashev, Howden, Dorofeyev, Smith, Hurdle, Kolesar. Oh, it's not even Carlson. It's not even Carlson. Oh yeah, he's hurt. Yeah, it was Hurdle. Dude, all year I've mixed those two up. Can't lie.
Carlson and Hurdle, they're so different.
Yeah, but they're just a center on Vegas. That's like
okay.
It's aight. Like they're just like the same player in my mind.
But I feel like their play styles are just a little different.
But yeah, Howden's really been elevated up the lineup. He's getting a chance to really prove himself. He needs to come through. Utah's got a really good top 6 like that. That second line matchup for Utah that's the trying to think, that's the Cooley line, like with Gun or Cooley. Okay, I'm drawing blanks here, but it's Cooley someone.
I was going to say Bird took off without a landing point.
I did. Cooley, Yamamoto, and Gunther. Okay, it is Gunther. But yeah, like that's a tough matchup. Cooley's a really good player, and so need the pesky side of the Howden, much like Hartman, and you need the goal scoring. Continuing, with the Utah Mammoth, we have John Marino. He's on their second pairing. Their first pairing,
I was
backing Uyghur and
high on him when he came into the league, John Marino.
He was really, really good for New Jersey. Like the year New Jersey beat the Rangers in the first round, like 2022, like the first time they made the playoffs, like he was a massive reason for that. He was really, really good on that second pairing. That's why Utah went out and traded 2 seconds for him. Like they went out and got him to try and they thought they were getting that second pairing guy, and he's really been unable to stay healthy most of the time there, but he's healthy. He's on that second pairing, and they need him to be good. He's like one of their only primary shutdown defensemen on the team, and he's going to log 20-plus minutes tonight, and he's going to be lined up match with that Howden Dorofeyev line, and so he's got to shut that down. He's got to alleviate some of the pressure off the Sergachev Uyghur pairing, so they don't have to be playing like 30 minutes a night.
Agreed. All right, up next, the Edmonton Oilers. Do you want to guess what we are going to say for the Edmonton Oilers for what they need?
It's the easiest one here, bro. Their goalie, Connor Ingram. I feel like it's that simple. Goaltending's literally been the issue. They arguably didn't win the cup the last 2 years. They're back in the cup, back in the playoffs. Goaltending being the issue again. Got 2 brand new guys, and goaltending is still the issue. It is arguably worse than it was before, in my opinion. And yeah, just straight up easy. That's just simple. That's what they got to do. Finishing off the final team, the co-partner to the Oilers in this series, the Anaheim Ducks, we have Jacob Trouba. The Ducks defense has been straight up putrid. Massive reason why they went 1-9 down the stretch, hanging Dostal out to dry. And to be quite frank, their defensemen have not been good enough. And I mean, Trouba and Gudis are supposed to be the catalyst of their shutdown decor, shutdown part of their decor, and they're not doing that. And so Trouba has to be better. John Carlson isn't good offensively. Lacombe makes up for it, and like you like that first pairing. I mean, you'd like a little more out of them defensively for sure.
Yeah.
But that's not their role. Their role is to be able to provide offense. The role of that second pairing led by Trouba is to be the shutdown pairing. They're going up against the best player on the planet, and McDavid. He's just going to have to be really good if they're going to win the series. Spoiler alert, I think he's going to do a really bad job of it. That's why Oilers are going to smack him.
Hey, man, don't doubt Trouba, dude. Old man still got it.
He's ass.
Yeah, he's not very good. All right. Moving on to our next section here, one of our last of this episode, we have how to play playoff fantasy. This is something that we did recently. We had our on YouTube. We uploaded our playoff fantasy draft with some of the boys, the FHP Avengers, as Azim, as Ben has.
I'm just going to jump in here and quick plug the YouTube. So Antonio and I are wrapping up everything, in terms of some personal life stuff that'll be over. So we will be much more committed to YouTube, i.e. school will be over. We'll be much more committed to YouTube and really planning to push a lot of YouTube exclusive content. You'll see some clips of it on TikTok for sure at FHP_pod, but we'll obviously be continuing with the podcast, but for some more content, kind of some different content, a little more off-season related content, just to be quite honest, check out the YouTube at Fantasy Hockey Pucks. And while you're at it, follow the Instagram at Fantasy Hockey Pucks as well.
Very much agreed. So, like I said, we posted our mock draft on there, had a lot of fun with the boys. And I sadly am currently sitting at 5th now that we're about a day and that bit into,
and I'm at first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you didn't have to say that. I was going to bring it up, but now like that you have to say it like that, like, I don't want to glaze you. I was going to glaze you, but I don't want to glaze you anymore. But yeah, so that's a lot of fun.
For those of you wondering,
okay. You can take it away.
Yeah. I was going to say, for those of you wondering, the question that I'm sure if you're a diehard hockey fan, you've wondered, much like Antonio and I want to play fantasy in the playoffs, but like, how do you do it? How does it work? So there's really two main ways to do it. You can do it where you draft a team each round, and those players contribute to your points each round, and you work up towards the total points. Most of them are total points based. That's just the easiest way to do it. It's really hard to consider a matchup because there's not really weeks. It's really based on the round, and I guess you could play someone different in each round, but that's not what I suggest because then half the people are out in the first round and won't care anymore. So I suggest doing it for the whole playoffs. And so you can either draft each round or you can draft before the playoffs start, and that is your team for the entire playoffs. Obviously, strategy is dramatically different.
The preferred one, if I'm going to be.
That's what I was going to say. I would 100%
so
recommend the full playoff one. I would not recommend the round by round one.
I think the strategy is just so cool because it's like, do I take Vasily Podkolzin because he might go deep over like somebody like a Dylan Gunther who I think might be out in the first round, like.
Yeah. And so obviously it's about, you got to obviously take your guys, but also have that balance of like, yes, like I understand I want to have the players that go farther, but I can't be taking Valeri Nichushkin over Tim Stützle type thing. And so you obviously have to find that balance. We've done it previously on Excel. Fantrax added it, we believe, for the first time this year. Can't lie, I don't think we actually ever checked. Like we assumed it was the first year, but like I didn't look last year.
I'm pretty sure because pretty sure
it's definitely year. At least probably like the second.
I looked 2 years ago. I looked 2 years ago.
It's at least the second worst second year. But yeah, you can do it on there. It was super simple. We set it up for total points. It was really easy. You had all the options. You just selected total points, just the one draft. And it's a ton of fun. Like the strategy is way different, and the person leading after round one does not mean they're going to win it. Like there's been times when I had like literally
in
just
fact, I feel like
tries to the left, and they were enough to just make me win it.
I feel like the opposite is true. If you really cook in the first round, it's not generally like a good sign.
Nah, well, that's not necessarily true because you'd think, well, you have players who went berserk, their team probably won. But yeah, it just works out that the team who cooks in the first round typically doesn't.
I don't know what it is. It's like bad juju or something.
I mean, you just got to get the team right. To be quite frank, the team who gets, if you bet on two teams that are going in the finals and you get it right, like you're like, I'm a believer in Carolina and Colorado, and you draft heavily based on those two teams and you're right, you're just going to win. That's how it works. So it's really
on the flip side, if they exit, then you're screwed.
Yes, exactly.
So, which is why I'm more like a balanced guy.
I think, I mean, the more that I'm thinking about it, I almost think it's like the supreme test of puck knowledge because it's judging your puck knowledge of individual players and how well they can perform and the teams because you have to take how far they're going to go into account. And so it's really just fantasy on crack.
Now he's saying all this because he's first in our league right now.
I haven't won in a minute, bro. We've done this for like multiple years where we would just track it based on only points. We did it on like an Excel sheet.
Yeah.
And I didn't win like recently. Like,
pretty sure Owen's actually won both of them.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying.
And I've like not to diss him, but I think he watches about what? He watches 2 games of NHL now.
He watches like no hockey. So it's like, but he just took the Avs and they would typically go far when we did it. I mean, the first year we did it, they won the cup.
Yeah. So there you go. But lots of fun. Would very much recommend if you want to check out our video and see how we set it up. Go check out our YouTube. And if you want to see our scoring, which is what we normally do, it's like bangos on kind of tweaked to our liking. That's also in our link tree on Instagram. And you can also access it, I believe, through our link tree on YouTube. Okay, moving on to our last section here of the episode. We have our 3 hot takes for the remaining time in the playoffs. Would you like to go first?
Sure. I'll go first. So the first one that I have for those of you on YouTube, you can obviously see all of them in front of you. But the first one that I have is I think the Carolina Hurricanes are going to go 8-0 through the first 2 rounds. I think they are like the Senators are one of the best matchups for them. I think in the first round, they play very similar style to them, but just not as good to be quite frank. And Allmark's a massive question mark in that. As well, they line up to face easily the weakest first round matchup, like the one that is the worst combined first 2 teams in the Flyers and Penguins. And so I really, really think this team could go 8-0. I think they're that good. They win in the first round every year with Brind'Amour, and they just have like one of the easiest paths to conference finals I can remember in a really long time. And the discrepancy in the points in the division showed that, and they're a dog in the playoffs. So yeah, I like the Canes to go 8-0.
Yeah, I think that's an unreal take. Now that we look at it, like very well could happen. My first one is I think one of the Wild and the Oilers are going to win the cup. I think one of them are going all the way. I mean, I've picked both of them obviously to go pretty far in our in my bracket. The Wild I wasn't so confident, so I didn't really have them going all that far. I think I had them losing to the Avs in the second round, but the Oilers I have actually winning the cup in my bracket. I think it's just going to be such a war in the East, especially for like a team like Tampa, like having to go through Montreal and then potentially like a hot Buffalo and then like a hot Hurricanes. Like I think it's going to be really gruesome for them getting through all those games. And in the West, like you look at it, like sure, Minnesota has a really hard first series, and sorry, I'm talking about the Oilers winning. Like you look at Minnesota and it's going to have to play Dallas. That's a big series. Then Colorado's going to have to take the winner of that series. That's going to be all bloodshed on that side of the bracket. Meanwhile, like the Oilers are like, we have the Anaheim Ducks. And then, here come the Vegas Golden Knights that have spent the second most time trailing in the NHL. Like it's just a cakewalk. So I think that they're going to have the easiest time getting through them. And hopefully if they can stay in like a very competitive state, cup bound.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see the Oilers one. The Wild one, I just personally disagree with. Obviously, I picked Dallas to win. Not to say it's wrong, but I just feel like they're objectively the third best team in that Central, and they'd have to beat them both to get there.
That's true.
So, that's why it's a hot take. All right, the next one that I have is, I mean, a little ridiculous, but at the same time, I'll explain my reasoning, and it'll make a little more sense. I have Darren Radish. My second hot take is that Darren Radish wins the Conn Smythe. He had an absolutely unbelievable season.
I don't know what that is, bro.
He had 22 goals. He had 22 goals, which was second amongst all defensemen. Mm-hmm. He had 70 points, I think, on the button. Yeah, he had 70 points exactly, which was, I think, like top 7, so like 7th for defensemen. So if you extrapolate that exact production into the playoffs and assume that Tampa goes to the cup, that is borderline Conn Smythe production. Now, where my explanation comes from is I have Tampa winning the cup, right?
Yeah.
We're obviously doing hot takes. If Kucherov, Vasilevsky, Point, Gensel, like those guys win it, that's not really that surprising. If they win the cup, those would be the guys you'd assume. Radish would not come to your mind, but I think he's going to log. He's their number one defenseman. He's going to log the big minutes against every team's top line. He plays first. He plays the second penalty kill. He plays first power play. Like he's just their number one defenseman. I think he's an absolute beast. I'm a big fan of him. If you've been paying attention to the pod, you know I'm all over the Leafs getting him in the offseason. I'd love him to sign there. So there's a bit of a bias because I'm a big fan of his. But I love him. I think he's a really good player, and I think he's underrated. And if Tampa wins the cup, I could see him have like 10 goals and like 18 points and win them and have like and a ridiculous amount of blocks and hits. So I'm all over.
Yeah. Okay. I see. I just think if somebody's winning the Conn Smythe on Tampa, I just simply don't see a way that it's not Kucherov or Vasilevsky, especially this year. All right, moving on to my next one. I think that Montreal versus Tampa is the real Eastern Conference Final. I think whoever wins out of that.
Sorry. I just wanted to jump in here because this is relevant. Darren Radish is 70-1 odds to win the Conn Smythe. He is plus 25,000 to win the Conn Smythe trophy. I might throw $1 on that. I actually think I'm going to throw $1 on that.
Okay, go ahead. That's a free dollar for the economy. But yes, as I was saying, Montreal versus Tampa, I think that's the real Eastern Conference Final. I think those are genuinely off of their recent play, two best teams in the East. I know you might say that's based off.
I think it's really dis to Carolina.
But I just simply think Montreal or Tampa match up very well against the Canes. And I mean, outside of Montreal potentially having a goalie issue, like I just think Tampa's going to the cup, first of all. But I think either of them, I think either of them can take out the Canes, whoever comes out of that series.
Yeah, I just don't see the Habs. I mean, I've said it earlier in the episode, like I'm not a fan of their bottom nine. I'm not a fan of what their defense will do if push comes to shove, and there's a lot of question marks in that. Now, obviously, those can be especially defense one, like very easily solved. Like I will admit, like I'm not a diehard Habs fan. I don't know their decor down with T, but just based on what I've seen at a lot of their defensemen, not necessarily the guys I trust the most to defend the front of the net, to defend the behind the goal line when you need to the most. But that's obviously my take. And I mean, their forward core is electric. So,
okay.
And all right, my third and final take is that I believe the winner of the Edmonton Oilers or Anaheim Ducks is going to the Western Conference Finals. So essentially, I believe no matter who wins that series, they're beating either Vegas or Utah. Edmonton is pretty clear. I think Edmonton's the best team out of those four, and they're probably the favorite and probably the team that most teams pick to come out of that the division, out of the Pacific Division. So I feel like that doesn't need much of an explanation. For the Ducks, the reason I am this high on them is, first of all, I don't think they're going to beat Anaheim. I don't think they're going to beat Edmonton at all. I think they're going to get killed. However, I think if they beat them, they have clearly shown they can get it done in the playoffs. The question marks around their weak decor are answered because you just stopped McDavid. And the question marks around the inexperience on the forward core with Carlson and Cutter Gauthier is also answered because they just beat the Edmonton Oilers. Like, I think if they're able to get it done, if they're able to fix the issues, prove that they can win, I have no questions that they can beat either Utah or Vegas. I think neither of those teams are that good. I think if they're doing that well, like Leo Carlson's playing like an elite 1C, Lacombe's playing like an elite 1D, Doshall's playing like an elite goalie, the John Carlson and Trouba, the vets have kind of figured it out on the back end. They're getting that depth scoring out of McTavish and others and Granlund and Kreider. Like, I think they have the vets to do it. Like, I really think, I mean, Kreider's done it in the playoffs before. So's Granlund. So's John Carlson. And so's Trouba. Like, they got guys who can perform in the playoffs. Like, Gudas won a cup as well. So you know that they have guys who know how to do it. I just question their forwards a lot, and I think their decor is very, very soft. But that's the point.
Is it crazy that I think
Is
it crazy? I think the Ducks get it done against Vegas, but not against Utah. Is that crazy?
I don't think that's that crazy because I think like Vegas goaltending sucks. Like, I know Hart's playing well, but overall,
Yeah.
you'd consider it ass.
It just feels like
And
I feel like
I'm not a
Vegas,
fan of their decor. I think their decor is really bad.
I feel like
it has a lot
Vegas
of cool
on
names,
paper
but,
looks
like,
really good, but like actual play,
that's
is
what I mean.
not
Their
that good.
decor. That's what I mean. That's like their decor is especially how I feel about that. And their bottom nine is not that good. Like, you look at those names, say Brett Howden is their 2C. Like, it's not that good. And I really don't like their decor. So I agree. I mean, we both picked Utah. I mean, you kind of bandwagoned and switched last minute. But
Well, I was
like,
brought
we
to the
both
light.
picked
Okay, I
Utah.
thought about it. I deliberated.
but I don't think that's crazy because I think like Anaheim and Utah play a much more similar style. And I mean, it's just personal preference who thinks going to win. I think if Anaheim played Utah, I'd pick Anaheim. Like, if Anaheim and Utah was a series in the first round, I'd pick Anaheim.
Ooh, interesting.
So,
but okay, that's a discussion for another day when that happens, like in a year down the road. My last
it's actually low key probably not going to happen because they're not in the same division. Actually, that Central's going to stay goated for a while, so they could be wild card team. Because I'm like, they'd have to, one would be a wild card, one would have to win the division for that to happen.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yes. Okay. My last hot take is I think Ottinger is going to get pulled again at some point in
this is crazy hating. This is crazy. Just personal.
He looked absolutely awful in that first game.
I mean, yeah,
like obviously being able to see one game says it like helps this a lot. But after one game, man,
I think that's
like there's just a world where he falls apart again like that in a game 5, and you're down like 2-3 in the series or 3-2 in the series, and you're like, shit, we need a win, and he just looks like absolute garbage.
I think you're overreacting to that. I know he didn't have really that good of a regular season, but like he's historically been a playoff dog. Like he was an absolute beast when they beat the Flames way back.
Dude, that's the only series that he's been that crazy.
That was not his fault. I mean, they made the conference finals the last 2 years, so he's clearly done something right.
Okay, he's also had a pretty good team in front of him.
Yeah, but you still the goalie play. You've seen what a bad goalie can do to teams. A bad goalie can sink a team.
I mean, again, we after seeing game 1, like. Can't say he did much to help them that game.
Well, I think both of your other takes are valid. I think this one's a crazy overreaction and also crazy unnecessary hating.
Well, I'm a hater at heart. So. No, I just am not about.
I genuinely believed you hated the Leafs more than you liked the Bruins.
Yeah, well, that was just delusional. But no, I just am not a believer in Dallas. So this is part of my hating on them and thinking the Wild are going to dominate, and at some point. They're just going to have to go and yank Ottinger. Anyway, enough yap. I'm looking forward to seeing what the next few games have in store for us. Looking forward to seeing the first Oilers game in a while. Haven't been really paying too close attention to them, if I'm going to be honest.
I mean, I'm just excited for tomorrow. So, like the Sabres, Bruins, bro, that game's going to be electric.
Yeah, true.
And the Ducks, or not the Ducks, the Tampa, Montreal. Like, it's just going to be a good day.
Very much agreed. So that's going to bring it to the end for us here, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Obviously, I told you we're going to bring another. I think this it'll work out that we're posting this either tomorrow or the next day, and then we'll be posting out another episode with kind of like the rewind of the full regular season and the teams that didn't make the playoffs at that time, and then we'll get into kind of our first round reactions.
And yeah, we're gonna stick with 2 a week. It'll get back to the same, like we'll record Wednesday, post Thursday, record Sunday, post Monday. We'll get back to that for the conclusion of the first round. Probably same in the second round. But then once we get to the conference finals, we're probably just gonna do 1 a week. And then the finals, I think we're just gonna do it after every game. So like just however many games. We'll just record after each game. We'll talk about any recent news that's happened in between games because the games also happen like every 3 days. So like,
we'll have awards by then, and we'll know
exactly. Like, there'll be news to cover, so we'll have other stuff to talk about, and then we'll just break down each individual game. So yeah, super excited for the playoffs to be back. Really weird for the Leafs not to be in it. Not gonna lie. Like last time, I was really, really young. The last time we were not in the playoffs, not really, really young, but I was young when we were not in the playoffs for the last time. So this is weird. It's definitely weird. I mean, it's nice though watching everyone stress through it, watching everyone else freak out, and me get to be like, you know what? Worst comes to worst, I don't really care. Like, I don't really care who wins out of this series. Don't really care who wins out of this series, you know? But we need to be back next year.
I look forward to playing you in the first round again.
That's not going to happen.
Not happening. Neither of us are going to be good enough to be like a 2 seed or a 1 seed.
It would have to be the 2-3, bro, and there's no chance we are good enough to be the 2-3 matchup next year.
Hey, maybe we can go to some like late March games, and those will be like playoff games for us because we'll be fighting for the last wild card spot.
Yep. That's okay. When we sign Darren Radish and Alex Tuck, bro, we'll be back in there.
Yeah, okay, pal. Anyway, everybody, that's about the end for this one. Thank you all for joining us and listening if you've stayed for this long. Again, we'll be coming out with another episode shortly, wrapping up the season, and we'll catch you then the next time we drop the puck. Have a good night, everybody.